All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners Workshop. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'm going to move around a little bit today. I'm going to go down to bullet point number 3, which is just a quick discussion that we have with our road and bridge for striping estimates. Come on down to the table. Pull the mics up really close so that everybody out there in YouTube land can hear you. And the floor is yours, Miss Virginia.
These are two quotes that actually Mr. Englehart had obtained before he left. These two companies are really the only two companies in the area that we know that do this type of work. So we are used to working with Branson, and they usually give us a fair price. But the stripes a lot is out of Montrose, Colorado, and their availability's usually not great either. So
Couple of years ago, who striped 29?
Branson. Yeah.
That was our new guy.
Do
Yeah.
we get that?
Okay,
Do we still get that same consistency? We should send them to Mesa Verde for that striping
yeah.
Right?
instead of our straight roads.
Yeah. They did better last year.
What's that?
They did better last year.
Yeah. So is this still current?
Yes.
He obtained it prior to
Yes.
Rob leaving. These are still current then?
Yes, he recently contacted me wanting to get the work scheduled.
Okay. And you're all done chip sealing now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
We're brooming everything off right now. We ought to be done brooming everything by Wednesday.
okay. So you really, pretty much your schedule is wide open at this point in time?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else to add, Ray? Okay. Well, we won't make that decision today, but basically your recommendation is to go with Branson Traffic Control at the 38,500.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. And is that going to get all 18.2 miles or just 18?
I believe the quote was for 18, but I don't think that we chip sealed 18.2. We probably
Okay.
chip sealed closer to 18.
Probably
Okay.
chip seal closer to 17.3.
Okay. So we're
'Cause-
good. We're
Yeah.
covered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
Question?
good. No.
Okay. You guys can get out of here.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right, now we'll go back to the top of our list, and we have a discussion that's related to the Summit Food Service Management Proposal. So, Sheriff and Tyson, I guess you guys are up. And on the line, we have Brenden McNamee and Billy's iPhone. Not sure who that is, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna-
so Billy is with us. He is our Vice President of Operations, is Billy Wade.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, because we have been hijacked in the past before, I'm going to ask you to turn on your camera so that we can actually see you, Billy. I'd appreciate it.
I'm working on it. I'm trying
Okay,
to get it to turn on.
Well, Billy, do you want to drop off until you figure it out?
I think I figured it out. I can see myself now.
I
we
still
can't
cannot
see you.
All right, let me exit out and I'll call back in then.
All
Perfect.
right, Thanks, I appreciate it. Brenden, do you want to go ahead and start, or Sheriff, would you like to start? Who wants to lead this off?
I'll let them because they're the ones that have been dealing with us there at the jail. So
Okay,
yeah,
all right,
please.
Brenden, then we'll let you kick it off.
Okay, so we understand that Montezuma County has been running the food service for quite some time internally. We did get an RFP. I did talk to Vici Pierce prior to the RFP coming out and kind of discuss what we were doing. We recently took over the self-op over at your neighboring La Plata County. And so Summit is, we provide food service and commissary, and we do it at over 400 counties nationwide. So it's kind of our niche. It's the area we excel in, and we find that it allows us to give the proper attention that each county needs, and we understand that everybody's unique. So we did answer the RFP that they put out, and we gave a couple of options for menus, and that's where we're at now. So now it's just the time for me to answer any questions that you may have and figure out how we can move forward.
Okay, so when we had this first presentation, there was an ask for X amount of, I believe it was dry storage space and frozen storage space. Was that, after your review of the facilities, is that adequate, or
Yeah.
what are the
So-
needs there?
So I came in, took a tour initially with the sheriff and with Ms. Pierce, and we toured the facility. I took a look at everything. I brought those notes and pictures back. After we had proposed, I had one of our operational team, David. He's our food service director over at La Plata County, so he actually runs their program. So he would be like the current Jeremy of Montezuma. And he's a very seasoned food service director. He's helped us at quite a few different accounts, and he's been with us for quite a long time. So David came over, and he reviewed everything again, and that was the ask. And you are well equipped with space, both frozen, cold, and dry storage. So yes.
Okay, and then the next ask was the, assuming the current employees, is that correct? Was that what it was, Tyson?
Yes.
That you would then assume or absorb the current, I guess, like a better term, cooks? Or
That is
kitchen staff?
correct. So we were asked so typically when I come in and I meet with somebody, I ask about the current employees, and they were very vocal, both Sheriff and Ms. Pierce, about your current team, which is Jeremy, Darla, and of course I forgot the last name. Well, there's three of them. And so yes, we are going to absorb them all. We have full benefits that they'll be able to use. We've actually took their current pay, and we've included a 3% raise in that, because that was with the timing of the start date, which was January 1st. And when we were putting this together, it was in July, if I'm not mistaken. So we anticipated, a normal cost of living raise with that. So yes, to answer your question, they would become our employees, and they would have all benefits available to them through Summit.
Okay, and then I think the last one was the, I don't have my notes in front of me. Do you remember the other one, Travis?
It was the small wares.
Oh, okay. Yeah, did you evaluate those also?
We did. And so the kitchen is very well equipped. In order to run our program, we decided that we would need just a few items, and that's a digital scale, and then color-coded serving spoons, and those help with portion control. That is about $450 to $500 worth of equipment that would be needed. But other than that, you guys have amassed a pretty good inventory of smallwares, pots, pans, tongs, utensils. And we understand that it's our job to keep those in good shape and keep them in the kitchen. So we foresee no problems with that whatsoever.
Okay, and then as far as portion control too, it'll still meet the 2,000 calorie a day requirement, correct?
Yeah, actually, we proposed two different menu tiers. So one was 2,800 calories, and one was 3,000. So it just kind of gives you guys a little bit of flexibility in there to figure out where you need to be. So, and frankly, we're capable of running a menu of any tier. So we're running a 3,200 calorie menu next door at La Plata. I have one here in St. Louis near me that has a 4,000 calorie menu, which I probably don't recommend if the cost savings is on your agenda. But we can figure out any kind of menu to meet any need that you may have, especially when it comes to financial needs.
Okay,
Oh,
questions, Commissioners, Travis, at this point?
No, I looked at his daily cost per meal. Is that a cost reduction compared to what we are currently providing? It's kind of hard for me to decipher because I'm not in that realm.
yeah, so it's hard for me to decipher as well because I'm not 100% privy to what you're spending now. But I can tell you that the labor rates are going to be they're going to be exactly the same because of, we're hiring all three of the same people at their current rates and tenure and vacation. One thing that you will have removed from your plate will be the benefits. So their benefits are included in our rates. So that portion will go away. And I can assume that there's going to be cost savings in procurement, so food purchases. We do have a very large range of purchasing and discounted purchasing through our 400 plus customers. So we've had negotiated terms with many, many vendors, including chemicals, paper cost, and food. So we're able to save costs there as well. So what I would recommend doing is, if you want to kind of really compare apples to apples, is see where you're at now, and you can use the pricing matrix based on your current population. So let me scroll down to the right page. 2.
Grab my notes real quick.
So, Sheriff, can you give me an idea of where your ADP is today?
For the individual food costs, is that what?
No, just like how many inmates do you have today? How many are in the jail today?
76, it was 82 last Friday. That'll
Yeah, so
fluctuate between 75 and 85, generally.
Okay. Yeah, so if let's just say that we're at 75, that'll put you at 403.6 per meal.
And that's right in line with what
Yeah.
the costs are now, maybe 20 cents less for what we pay.
And then,
Yeah.
and then obviously if you're over 80, that goes down almost exactly 20 cents to 383.
Right.
So we tried to give you the pricing matrix on a scale that was a little bit smaller, but not too small, so that there was some cost savings to the county. Because I feel like when I was in there, it was actually in the 60s there for a little bit over the summer. So that price is going to be higher. So I wanted to give you the availability to, as the price goes up, because labor is a kind of a stagnant cost. You're going to have it no matter what. So we'll be able to save you some money as the population goes up.
Okay, so what happens when the population does increase over that average that we've had? What happens?
So if it goes over 100, so at 100 it goes down to 323. But if it goes up substantially higher than that, obviously the price starts going down. But if you get to a certain point, I feel like you can only hold like 108. Is that right?
104.
104. Yeah. So I mean, in the event that you get up to 100, the price just becomes $323. There's no anticipated need for any change in labor. That's still going to be able to be accomplished with the 3 that you have in there. So I don't foresee any problems unless you suddenly pop up 2 new pods. Then we might have to take a look at how many people we need to feed an extra 50 or 60 people after that.
Right. So the cost goes down when there's less inmates? Is that what, or does cost
No.
goes up? when
Cost
there's
goes
less inmates?
down when
Yeah.
there's more inmates because the staff is the same if they're
Right.
cooking 50
Sure.
meals or
I get it.
100 meals. So
Okay.
that's why it goes down.
All right.
Right.
But on average, I think we were calculating when we had that first meeting was like only 60. Does that
Yeah.
sound right? I mean,
Yeah.
on average,
That was back then, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's not, or it hasn't been up to 102,
It hasn't been to
104 in a long
104
time.
in several years. Yeah.
So I think that's why we're using that average. And you said that number was the 426, correct, Brendan?
For 70 to 74 on the 2,800 calorie menu, it's 426.6.
Yeah.
So we actually go like 3 places to the right of the decimal. For that same on the little bit higher, 200 calories more, it would be 439.5. And I feel like if I did some back of the envelope math, it would be a difference between those 2 menus. The difference is only probably going to be about $9,000 annually.
Okay. The 2,800 calorie is substantially higher than where we're required to be. Is that correct, though? I thought the
No, it's-
requirement was 2,000 calories.
It's a little bit more than 2,000.
Is
Yes.
it?
Yes.
What is it, Brendan?
So it varies by state. Billy, do you happen to remember what it is for Colorado?
2,400 calories is the minimum for Colorado.
Yep. Yeah.
Did you get that?
Yep.
Okay.
That's about right.
So we meet it with the 28.
Yeah,
No
you're
worries.
actually exceeding it. And honestly, like I work in 11 states across the country, from the weirdest possible thing that you can imagine across the belt of the United States, and 2,800 is about average for everybody. It's not too high where you're spending more money than you need to, and it's not too low where you're starting to, feel like some kind of moral dilemma that you're not providing the adequate amount of food for people that, are in your facility. So I think you're in a good spot with either one of those.
Okay. All right, then, anything else for them?
No, he answered my question on food acquisition. I'm sure he's got some pretty good-sized contracts with some distributors, so.
Yeah, we do.
Bulk
Like-
buying will get you there.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
He said that
The
the
bulk-
bulk buying
Bulk buying will save you a lot of money.
Sure, sure.
makes a difference in it. All
Um,
right, questions for any one of you to them?
Yeah,
Either-
I've got some questions, so, if I could. So, what happens when, is there a contingency plan for, delivery of the meals for the number of inmates 3 times a day, in bad weather, or if the road's closed, or what is the emergency or contingency plan for that?
Did you hear that, Brendan?
I did. So typically, Summit's mandate is that we keep 14 days of food, so 2 weeks of food on site. So as we're ordering, we're kind of keeping that rotated in. In some of the mountain states, well, we understand, we work in Montana, we work in Wyoming, we work in Colorado. We understand that there's the chance for there to be inclement weather. So I'm going to let Billy speak to this a little bit more because he works in the hand-to-hand operations. But it's a situation where we'll work with you to kind of get an idea where you feel we need to be. But Billy, you want to explain that a little further?
Well, I can give some examples. You go to some of our locations to where we've actually the county has opened up pods to where we've actually had individuals spend the night, so that way they're there on site. It's a little more expensive for us because we're paying that person by the hour and they're there 24 hours a day. Because while they're there at the facility. So, and that's one of the, I mean, we work with the staff on site to find out what it is, how it is. Because we know that storms happen and we, first and foremost at the front of our mind is breakfast, lunch, and dinner and making sure that everybody's fed. So, if we have to have somebody spend the night, then that's what we do. That's how we handle it. And if there's I know South Dakota, we actually had individuals riding snowmobiles to get to work. I know that's not ideal, but though we come up with numerous different plans, and that's working with the facility and coming up with their staff and how they handle it. So I know that their officers probably just get mandated overtime, but if there's an area or spot to where we can actually have somebody spend the night, then we do.
Sure. Okay.
And then for lesser contingency plans, we also have a lot of local support. So as I've mentioned, we're partnered with La Plata County. It's 43 minutes door to door from the jails, on a good day. And in the event that someone needs to cover a shift or cover a vacation, because we do like our people to take some time off and enjoy their lives, there's that support from La Plata. We're also at Montrose County, so maybe our people can ride down with the lot striper guy. We're at Taos in New Mexico, Canyon City, Park County, and Teller County, all in Colorado. So these people, then we have a district manager and an operational support manager who both live in the Denver area. So they're just a short plane ride away to get there. So
We also handle the entire school district for Farmington. So we also have all of those that we can pull from if need be.
Okay. Now, I know that we did tell you that worker inmates may not be available. Maybe one. We don't get very many worker inmates anymore. So have you figured that as well?
Yeah, I did speak with Ms. Pierce about that, and so there was a couple things that pertain to the labor, and one of them was a request for you from her and from Jeremy and his team was the 10-hour shifts that they were currently working. So we do agree that if that's the way that they want to do things, it is possible for us. We've reviewed it operationally, so that's a yes to that.
Okay.
Because obviously shaking that up, creates a dynamic that could lead to, unhappy employees, and we don't want to do that if it's something that they like. The inmate labor, obviously, we put 2 to 4 that we would need in the proposal, but that was based on conversations that we had. So we do understand that there is a likelihood that that would be we would not have that on certain days or some days or maybe almost a whole week. But I think if there's a good faith effort by the sheriff's office, if there is somebody that is available to do it, even if it is just to help out with washing dishes and whatnot, then that would be amazing. If that's not the case, we are still confident that Jeremy and his team can handle everything as they're doing now when there's no inmate labor. So based on our menus, which honestly are probably with the guidance that we have and the ordering, and the seaboard and everything that we use is going to create some efficiencies for them. So I think they're going to find that it's going to free up some of their time. So that'll be a nice addition as well.
Okay, thanks. What about the laundry service for the kitchen and whatnot? We do the inmates' laundry there within the facility, but we don't do any of the kitchen laundry at all because of the grease and whatnot.
No towels or anything?
No towels or anything. We take that to a local laundromat here to have that done for us.
Okay.
That way we make our washing machines last at least a year to a year and a half. We don't put greasers inside those machines because they break down too often.
So that would be no change. You could take them and get them laundered also. I think the question is, do you have that in the proposal also?
It is not in the proposal.
Let's see.
But I think that if it's something that you're doing now, we can figure out a way to get it done, unless Billy tells me different.
No, I mean, because we order any towels that we use for our green and red buckets, all those, I mean, and we don't, the deep fat fryer, I mean, that's currently there, we would not be using anyways. So any oils that we would have would be extremely minimal. And with that, I mean, if we need to take them and figure out how to get it to the dry cleaning and or laundry, we can do that, and or replace them as that needed. So we can handle that. We can make sure that that's all covered.
Okay, because there is a drop-off service that we use. It generally costs somewhere between $20 to $30 a month.
Yeah, we can figure that out.
Yeah, okay. We're still going to need a kitchen budget to cover those chemicals, towels, can liners, paper bowls, paper plates, plastic forks, film and foil, gloves, hand soap, steel wool, so on and so forth. That's generally about $6,300 to $6,900 a year. Because that's something they don't cover.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So we can buy the chemicals, we can buy that stuff and just probably get a better rate than you're getting now, and just make it a pass-through cost to you if that's easier. It could potentially save you money there. But when we came in and we talked about the way that you were doing things now with the actual food program, and Sheriff, I believe that all the chemicals and stuff were under a different budget that you oversaw, so we kept it that way. But we can incorporate that in, or just at least buy them for you, even using that separate account, not messing with any of the price matrix, and possibly save you some money that way. We wouldn't tack anything onto it. It would be a pass-through cost, so whatever we paid for it, we would just give you the invoice and you just pay us back for it. If that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, I'm just stating what the fact is. So
Yeah.
it's whatever you guys want to do. Yeah. Okay. A real question about the upfitting of the kitchen. I think you needed a secured, lockable container for chemicals and whatnot. We averaged that at about $700 for that, and that can come out of building maintenance or us. So that's what that cost would be.
Yeah, and the only other thing that we saw, so along that line, Sheriff, was securing the chemicals. That is recommended, with or without inmate labor, because, especially if we're without it for a week and then suddenly it's in there, you just want to make sure that stuff's secured. And then in the event that they are back in there, there's the knives, when they're out, we like to have them tethered to something so they don't grow legs. So that would be something that we would consider implementing too. But if no inmate labor ever came back in there, then that would be a non-issue.
Exactly.
What do we provide now per day for inmate labor?
What are we providing for inmate labor?
Yeah.
It's generally one.
Is that
but
what we
it's not
provide?
always. Sometimes there's two, but it's only there's really no guarantee. There's some days we don't have any worker inmates, but most of the time we have at least one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we could get by with that for sure.
Sure. Okay. On page 105 in this contract clarifications for non-hire,
Uh-huh.
we kind of have a sticking point with that. If any of the current employees that go to work for Summit, if they leave, it says in here that we can't hire them back for doing other duties within the sheriff's office if those positions are available, such as a detention deputy. Is there any way
Yeah,
that can be
I think that's a non-issue. I will definitely go to bat with our legal team over that on behalf of the county. This is something that goes in essentially every contract. In this instance, these are already your employees and they're coming to us, and we do, just me personally, I would never want to hold up somebody's career path.
Sure.
So if it gets to that, if it gets to that point and, somebody wants to move to your team, honestly, I encourage that. Like, if it's helping them grow as a professional, then I'm all on board with that. But, sometimes we put a lot of time into hiring a team. So most of the time, this non-hire thing only goes into effect. So imagine if we were doing this process in reverse,
Sure.
where we were already the vendor there, and we had trained Jeremy, we trained Jennifer and Darla, and then you guys decide that you want to go back and be self-op, and then you would hire those people to just continue to run your kitchen. That's really what that clause is in there for.
Okay.
If that makes sense. That just protects us from that, so I can get that taken care of.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know that I saw this, and I don't, maybe the county attorney can help direct me. I just want to make sure that the sheriff is not held responsible for anything that Summit is supposed to provide for meals per inmate per day, so that I don't have inmates contacting their defense attorneys and ACLU in regards to violation of state and federal rules when it comes to inmate meals and whatnot.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the benefits of outsourcing. So, we do have our own insurance umbrella. So the named person will be Summit. So you will be covered by our insurance, and the liability to that goes to Summit. Because you're hiring us to perform this duty for your facility. I'm trying to think of an example that would be that's not crazy, but if I was going to build a building and I built it and it collapsed on everybody, I built the building, not the sheriff's office. So I'll talk to our legal team about a little blurb that I can maybe get in a contract that clearly identifies that for you. And I'll go through our contract, and there's probably already something in there, but my legal mind on a Monday afternoon is, my legal mind's just not great, period, but.
Yeah. It's always the
Otherwise-
sheriff that's held responsible for whatever happens in the jail, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to
Sure.
have an umbrella to cover me.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for those comments, Brenden. From my perspective, I think any obligations that the sheriff has, you can't get rid of those, but this could be some, like a reasonable thing you did to, make sure that those obligations were fulfilled. So it's not that you wouldn't be sued, but you might have a good defense that, you took reasonable steps to try to address that obligation.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I have no
Understood.
control over it, it's a little hard to defend it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Tyson? Nothing else?
Okay. I'm good.
Okay, looks like
So
we're good, Brenden.
I do have one question, if I could.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was waiting for you. You could. So in the event that we do decide to move forward, the start date was revealed in the RFP to be January 1st, which I would strongly urge you to reconsider that for a couple reasons. One, it's getting deliveries over a double holiday week will be very difficult. And then, of course, then I also like for my operations team to enjoy time with their family as well. So it's not a deal breaker for us, but I would ask that maybe if we can consider a December 15th or perhaps a January 15th start date in the event that we do decide to move forward with this, which I sincerely hope that we do. But again, it's not a deal breaker. It's just a simple request from our part.
So 12:15 is basically what you're asking for if we move forward.
Sure. Or even 12:1, or honestly, anytime between now and 12:15, I think.
All right. That's easy enough to remember. Got it written down. Okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We will be in
Okay.
contact. We won't make any decisions today. This is just a discussion, just a
Absolutely.
workshop. So that'll be in an actual business meeting to make a decision.
Okay. Well, you guys have my contact information. If there are any more questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And look forward to catching up with everyone real soon.
All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving down to item number 2, there was a conversation that the emergency manager actually brought to our attention last week, the week before. I think we forgot to put it on the agenda last week, but lifting the burn ban at this point in time.
Right, I've talked to all the fire chiefs, and 2 of them are not tickled, but they'll do it. And so.
No, we
Yeah.
were just asking, we're not saying that.
Okay. I think it's fine, you know, from the discussions I've had and what we've seen. You know, the relative humidity is a lot higher now, but it's going to dry out again. But the
Yep.
thing is, the temperatures are much cooler and whatnot, so we're good with lifting the fire ban.
And
right
it doesn't mean that if the
now. Right,
temperatures
I'll come back
change and
and ask
everything
again.
changes back, that in 2 weeks, we're not back here
thank you.
putting it back into place.
Well, I appreciate it, yeah. Thank you for allowing me to do that if we need to.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
do you want to do
Yeah.
it temporarily for now? Do you want to just do it,
No, just
Do it.
just lift it, and then
just
if the
lift it now. And
temperatures change, then we'll put it back on?
I just need to know the date and the time that you're gonna call it quits so that we don't write any citations for any burns.
Well, it would
Okay.
probably be
I would do Wednesday,
Wednesday.
6 o'clock in the morning, because you'll make a decision tomorrow, and that'll give
Yeah.
the sheriff and
Just
everybody.
let me
Wednesday,
know.
time to-
6
Just let me
a.m.?
know, that's fine. Yeah, okay. All right, thank you.
All right. Next up, we have our public lands update, and gosh, we have a room full today. It's nice to see you all, guys. Come on down, Kayci. You can all come down together. I don't see Ray, but, okay. Kayci, we'll let you start.
Good afternoon, Kayci Cook, Superintendent for Mesa Verde National Park and Yucca House National Monument. First, I want to thank the county for providing the fairgrounds for the incident command post when the Waters Canyon fire broke on BIA lands. I had never been part of a fire operation where that facility was used, and it was really fabulous. And I know that, you know, luckily the Waters Canyon fire kind of wound down right as the Stoner Mesa fire ramped up. So I'm sure the Forest Service is also very appreciative, but I wanted to provide a thank you from the National Park Service for that. It was a great facility.
You're very welcome.
You know, I think you're probably perhaps a little interested in visitation and what that's been doing at the park, and that's actually been down. You're probably not surprised because the local businesses and Aramark have also been noticing that too. So year-to-date visitation at the park is down just under 4% for year-to-date through August of last year. The August numbers were down a little bit more than the July numbers were down. So not sure exactly what's going on there. I think that the lack of international visitation or the reduction in that is having an effect on that. There may be other things as well. You know, we don't take granular information about our visitors, so it's hard to tell. But I think overall the area is experiencing a reduction in tourism. But you know what? That might come back next year because there are a whole series of overlapping celebrations that I think could really bring a lot of people to our public lands. So, you know, the first of those is America 250, the 250th anniversary of the establishment of the United States. And then we have the 150th for the state of Colorado. And then Mesa, much smaller, but still important, we have the 120th anniversary of the establishment of Mesa Verde National Park. So the park is just now getting started on ideas for events and activities that will nest within all of those anniversaries, but fingers crossed that we'll get some good bump in visitation from those things. So we're excited about those. You might have gotten an email from me about 10 days ago or early last week about a public webinar about the secretarial order. The Secretary of the Interior, Secretary Burgum, established a secretarial order for the National Park Service, and it's around strengthening coordination with national park gateway communities. So that webinar happened last Wednesday. There were over 700 people nationwide that attended that. I don't know if anybody from here did. I can provide the link to the recording. It was very, very general. So at this point in time, it was really just to communicate the overall goals and objectives for that secretarial order. And I just have a couple of things that I can share about that. So the goals of the secretarial order are to recognize that gateway communities are key stakeholders for national parks. You know, obviously, I hope that you know that Mesa Verde National Park feels that way about Montezuma County, Cortez, Dolores, Mancos, Towaoc, and so forth. But also, the goal is to recognize or to foster ongoing transparent communication. And the more specific objectives were that each park has to establish a gateway coordinator. And so for Mesa Verde and Yucca House, that's me. We're expected to hold quarterly meetings, and we're figuring, the whole Park Service is kind of figuring out, well, what does that look like? Can we repurpose some of the existing meetings that we attend and that we call with our partners? So there'll be more on that, but I'm happy to provide information as it moves along. But I do appreciate the opportunity to come here quarterly, certainly, and provide updates to you all. We have a big year coming up in FY26 with regard to projects, and you know there probably will be some impacts to public use. You know, going back to the last, well, several years ago, we had 2 years where Wetherill Mesa, the visitor use area that's seasonally available, was closed because we were reconstructing a contact station out there. So this summer, that was open again, and that was great. And we will be happy that Wetherill Mesa will be open next year because we're going to have a lot going on. So among the projects that are going to happen at Mesa Verde in 2026, this fall and winter, we've got overlook barrier replacement at about, I think we have 7 overlooks that we're going to be replacing and upgrading the barriers that keep people from walking off the edge there. So we're going to have 3 overlooks at the Cliff Palace Loop that we're going to redo, and then 4 overlooks that we're going to do on the Mesa Top Loop. We just got the contract signed for that, so we aren't exactly sure what the start date is, but there will be rotating closures as the contractor moves from overlook to overlook, but you know, they won't all be closed at once. So there will still be plenty to see this fall and winter along both of those loops until we close. Of course, we close the Cliff Palace Loop once we get the first big snow that we then won't plow after that, or December 1st, whichever happens first. This winter, we're going to be starting a big project to renovate the stone houses that are near the headquarters and the Chapin Mesa Museum. We have a number of historic houses that were built in the 1920s that are going to get full rehabilitation with new utilities and lots of upgrades. A couple of them will be made handicap accessible. So when we have employees that have mobility issues, we'll be able to have them be able to park their cars nearby and so forth. So that's going to start up this winter, late winter, and it'll extend through the summer. But we'll be taking up some parking lots and areas with staging areas for the materials for that contract. So Chapin Mesa, the headquarters area, is going to be an interesting set of circumstances there. We are going to be starting the Moorfield Waterline Replacement Project this spring and summer. I've been talking with you all about that for the last couple of years, but that's actually going to begin when the weather allows at the end of winter. And it'll be the section, just a Moorfield section. So that's going to involve ground disturbance and replacement of a water line from near the Visitor and Research Center, near the entrance of the park, going towards the bottom of the old Switchback Hill. And then there'll be directional drilling to get the water line emplaced within the landscape, and then it'll pop up near the top of the big hill where it goes around the corner right down to where the Moorfield Campground is. And so we'll tie in with the water tank that's right there. There shouldn't be any interruption in service, which is good because we have employees there, the campground. We don't expect to be able to have to close that at all. We'll have alternate water sources there for the periods of time of the work there, so we won't have a period with no water there during the season. We've got We've got another federal highways project. So when we had the last big project that did most of the Park Road, there were some things that weren't included in that contract. So some areas right around the headquarters area, there's a driveway to the old superintendent's house. That's going to get done. The Cedar Tree, the little spur road to the Cedar Tree Tower site, the Farview sites, the big parking lot that's near the Farview Center. What's interesting about that is that we're going to actually create a new entranceway into the Wetherill Mesa Road. That's a problem for us now because visitors line up waiting for that road to open in the morning. We don't have 24-hour access during the season when it's open, and that creates a safety issue when vehicles back up to the point where they're out in the main park road. So we're excited to work with federal highways to eliminate that, and there will be a little pass-through that's created from that great big long parking lot there that will be a much safer operation for everybody involved. We've got the Navajo water tank project. So near Farview, where the lodge is, we've already got our existing largest water tank there, and this will be a project to construct an additional tank that will allow us to, well, it'll actually be, it will result in a water savings because right now we have to actually let water out onto the landscape sometimes in order to maintain the chlorine residual at a safe level. It'll also mean that if we have an issue, well, the older tank has a need for repairs, and so we would be able to, with a new smaller tank next to it, we would be able to undertake those repairs without cutting the water service to the lodge, et cetera. So that one's going to happen this summer and fall. And then late summer, we'll begin the Spruce Tree House Alcove Arch Stabilization Project. And that's expected to run from late summer through the winter. We have the window of that work has to be done in accordance with migratory bird laws and so forth. So that's also why we end up with so many projects that run concurrently, because we have natural resource requirements and so forth. So it's looking like a pretty exciting year for Mesa Verde. I'm sure that while we may have some interruptions in some public services and facilities, we will always be able to maintain enough places for visitors to enjoy Mesa Verde National Park. So lots going on. Maybe you can get up and see it while some of it's happening. I'd be happy to tour you around. Thanks.
I've, was it 2002? I had some of the best tours I've ever had in my life up there because we were up there on a fire crew and everything was shut down. And I'm probably way more blessed than most because I've been all over that park. And then we work up there a lot too, so I frequent Mesa Verde often.
Well, we'd love to have any and all of you up again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, Derek.
All right, good afternoon, commissioners and everyone else. One of the things, it was brought to my attention, it's been a few months ago now, that there was a little bit of concern with regards to Clear Works and their right-of-way proposal for the BLM. They had just provided it to us at that point in time. We've been working with their contractor over the course of the last couple of months to get them their right-of-way. That should be completed this week, and I think they wanted to start about now, September, October, to get their fiber optic line in place. So everything should be fine, like I said, by the end of this week, and they should be able to do the work that they need to do to get fiber optic service to our community here. I also talked to you last time about the Phil's World. Well, maybe it's not the last time. I think it was last winter about Phil's World reroutes that we needed to do to come into compliance with Section 106 in the State Historic Preservation Office to avoid cultural resource sites. We thought that was going to, be a 2 to 3 year process to get all those reroutes completed. We had, because of the fire season that we had lots of crews, in place, and when they didn't have, fires to attend to, similar to what you just described, Commissioner Candelaria. We put them to work doing other things, and they were able to get all those reroutes completed this summer. So we've complied with our agreement with the State Historic Preservation Office to get everything done. So we're done there. We did get, a couple of complaints from public land users that were, users of those motorized routes that they no longer had, access to them. So due to that, we put up some signage out there on the landscape, explaining why the reroutes were done and what was the background there. And since then, we've not received any more complaints.
I think, if I remember right, that drawing you gave us said it was only like a mile, right?
Correct.
That they lost? Is that, do you guys remember that map?
Yeah, it
So
was
it
about a
wasn't-
mile of loss, and then, but then, like I said, they were reroutes,
Yeah.
where, people were just concerned about that, but they were mostly concerned about the loss, is what it was.
Okay.
As far as the fire season went this year, just a quick recap. On BLM lands, we didn't have, anything of consequence, thankfully. We had a few close calls that started on private land out in the Yellow Jacket area, and then over in the Dolores Rim area where, those fires grew to, I think the Yellow Jacket one got to about 50 acres, but didn't make it over onto BLM. And then the one out there by the rim, that one got about to 150 acres, I believe, but also didn't make it onto BLM due to all the resources that we had in place to be able to catch those. And then anything else was mostly single tree type incidents, and didn't there again turn into much of anything. So we were pretty excited with that, but we borrowed a lot of resources from the Stoner Mesa fire when we did have those close calls, and there again we were able to keep most things small. We have started our prescribed fire season already. We burnt about 370 acres out on the Dolores Rim over in Dolores County last Friday. And then we'll have another 500 or 600 acres, but that'll be over in La Plata County in the Rabbit Mountain area, just north of Bayfield. We'll be doing some burning, and I don't anticipate any actual prescribed burning within Montezuma County this fall or next spring. Any questions on anything I've covered so far? I haven't given you that opportunity, sorry. No?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Kenny the Ancients received Great American Outdoors Act funding to do some upgrades to the visitor center facility, to our bunkhouse that's located just down the hill from the visitor center, and then also to do some work out at the Lamb House down there by Sand Canyon. That had been on hold for the last 2 or 3 years while they funded other projects from the Great American Outdoors funding, and we finally came up on the list and were granted that funding. So contracts have been let, and that work, they haven't been awarded yet that I've heard, but that work could begin soon. It will have an effect on the visitor center itself in that the bathrooms are going to be upgraded and things of that sort, that we may need to close the visitor center at times to accommodate that construction. Our bunkhouse, it'll just add some more capacity there. Currently we can provide beds for about 5 people, and this will increase that to about 10 or to 8 or 10, I can't recall right off the top of my head. Ray knows all this stuff back and forth, I don't. So, and then down on the Lamb House, what we'll do down there is, there were a lot of additions, and not very quality additions added to that building, and those will be removed, and it'll be restored back to what the original structure was. and then it'll be brought up to a standard such that we could use it, as a seasonal visitor center down there, so that we actually have a facility out on the landscape, and not 20 miles away for people to be able to stop in and ask questions. We have a pretty good volunteer base that when we just had our volunteer presentation, volunteer appreciation lunch a few weeks ago, and people were really excited and ready to start signing up for their turn to cover the Lamb House. So we're pretty confident, that we're pretty successful in getting people to volunteer to staff that, and cost anybody anything other than what we're currently putting into it to get it to that standard. And then that'll also include a trail that we work with you all on already from the county provided parking lot over to the Lamb House. And then the other thing for Canam is that we'll be hosting a Luminaria event on December 5th. And Mesa Verde comes out and helps us out in getting that set up every year. And if the Forest Service wants to come and help, we can do that as well. We'll put out an announcement where we're putting the Luminarias together. And it's a pretty fun time getting everybody together and setting that up, and then seeing the public. I think they got like 300 people last year, and that was the first one. So we expect, the same or more this year.
Are you guys going to do them on opposite nights? Or are you going to compete on the same night?
We're not doing it
Right.
at Mesa
Oh.
Verde. So, I hope that after the Spruce Treehouse Alcove Arch Stabilization Project is done, which would be 27 or 28. So thank you for saving our bacon on this one, Derek.
Yep.
All right.
And that's the reason we started doing it, was just because of
'Cause of their-
the situation that they have up there at Mesa Verde. So
Okay.
I guess, once they're ready to do theirs again, we'll have to have a discussion on whether or not we continue our event or give it back. Oh, talking too much. Then lastly, I just want to talk a little bit. We received our 2024 economic contribution report at the end of August, and just wanted to provide a little summary of that. This is specific to the Treasurer's Office, but it's not specific to Montezuma County. It's just a compilation of the total economic contributions of the Treasurer's Office to the state of Colorado. So for oil and gas, we provide about 2,400 jobs, both direct and indirect jobs for the state of Colorado. Recreation, about 711. Coal production, about 229. Grazing, 45. And then timber, we don't have any direct or indirect. I bet you we have some indirect, but they just probably didn't know how to capture it. Jobs. And then total labor income per resource area. In oil and gas, we contribute about direct labor income of $426 million, recreation 42.5 million, coal 16.3 million, grazing 1.2 million, and then timber. They did capture some labor income, but no labor people, so they might have been like a percentage or something, like a very small percentage of $9,100. And then total contributions, total output by resource is 790.7 million of economic contribution from oil and gas, 122.8 million from recreation, 72.5 million from coal, 4.2 million from grazing, and 38,600 from timber, for about 990 million, almost $1 billion of economic input or output to the state of Colorado. And that doesn't account for the tribal oil and gas trust responsibilities that we have. The BIA counts that in their numbers, so we unfortunately don't get to double count it, but that's a pretty significant input to the economic viability here in the counties that we support. So that's all I had, unless you have any questions on anything specifically.
Seeing a lot of stuff coming down through information of new leases coming out on federal lands. Is it going to affect Montezuma County in any way?
Not at this point. We've spoken with our local operators, and they have no intention of increasing, the level of activity that they're currently doing. Like Kinder Morgan's a good example. There are a few leases that were involved in a Wild Earth Guardians lawsuit that will be put up, but those are over in La Plata County and actually on Forest Service land over in the HD Mountain area. That those will be, I believe those are going to be put in the Q1 of 2026 lease sale.
Okay.
But we haven't received any information that we'll have any lease sale plots within the Terrestrials Field Office in Q1 or Q2, but that could change just depending on the interest.
Okay. When it says oil and gas, is gas disseminated out between CO2 and natural gas coming out of the hole?
No, those are combined.
Okay.
Yep.
I read a fact that Montezuma County was the fourth largest gas producer in the state of Colorado. And I didn't know if that broke out CO2 or natural gas or combined or what.
The major, trying to think now. It would be CO2 because most of the production of gas within Montezuma County is CO2.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got to thinking, well, when it says gas, I think of natural gas,
Right.
And I got to think, I don't remember hardly any gas wells producing out there.
Mhm. Yeah, we have a few,
Yeah.
but not a lot. But yeah, it's CO2, and then even with the CO2 production, they're able to strip off helium. I believe there's some natural gas that is in there as well. That they,
Argon, rare gases.
Yep, exactly. So it's a combination of all those.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Derek. All right. Nick, you're up.
Afternoon, Commissioners. I'd say Kayci set me up well. I was going to start out with a Stoner Mesa fire update. Continue to patrol that and conduct suppression repair. And I know after all this rain, patrol sounds kind of crazy, but we have seen smokes interior even after 2.5 inches of rain over the last 30 days. So the ability to still have heat out there is certainly possible. I want to say thank you to the fire districts, certainly to the county employees, the sheriff's department, and all the community for the support. And certainly appreciate it all, seeing all the thank you firefighter signs and the ability of this community to come together. So certainly grateful for that. In terms of prescribed fires, so far this year we've accomplished about over 3,000 acres this spring. That was in the Hay Camp area, kind of the north end of Boggy and kind of along Cottonwood Road. Do have plans for this Wednesday, looking at the Salter landscape for about 1,600 acres. And really that'll be informed by kind of our fuel samples out there, kind of seeing if we get any moisture today that might push us back, just trying to be informed by what are our fuel moistures out there. Also looking at kind of the east end of Boggy Draw area for maybe 1,500 acres, and maybe as soon as late this week or pushing off into next week. Again, just kind of really weather dependent as we keep seeing these rains come in, kind of forecasted for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The district got about 5,000 acres of restoration work contracted this year. 380 acres of that was aspen, and the rest was ponderosa pine. And then, another interesting thing I wanted the commissioners to be aware of is working on a 33-acre applied snowtography restoration treatment. And so what we're trying to do there is look at, can we modify our restoration treatments to also account for timing of snow melt? So we can kind of increase soil moisture, increase snow in the landscape, the water coming into our reservoirs, knowing how important that is to our neck of the woods. And so it's kind of a trial study, and then take the lessons from that and apply it to our landscape treatments. happy to take any questions you have.
I have just one
Yep.
question. Where do we stand as far as, or can you even, express anything as far as the lawsuit with the free landholders, or did that get all 100% resolved?
So that's currently in process. I mean, those court documents are all publicly available. I'll say that we're filing for summary judgment, and so kind of the final stages of our filings, it would be up to the court after that.
Okay. So we're almost to the end.
Correct.
All right.
The-
Very good.
One last update is that we do have a new forest supervisor since I talked to you last. Steve Hottenbach comes to us as a former forest supervisor from the Cibola, and also a deputy regional forester out of the Southwest region, working out of Albuquerque. Would love to have him come in front of the commissioners and get to meet you guys and have you guys get to know him. So maybe we could find a time for that.
All right.
Great. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Can I do one go back? The quick go back I have is that I've visited with you for the last several years about our feral and trespass horse removal project. And we're now at about 60 animals removed since fall of 2021. So we managed to get, I think, 13 horses this year, which we weren't sure we were going to get any. So that project is going well. We're still working with the National Mustang Association in terms of being able to transfer those animals out for adoption. They go to owners or they go to sanctuary and live their best lives. But we could be halfway or maybe a little bit more than halfway towards the total number of horses that are within the boundary. But I wanted to give you just a quick update on that.
All right. Which then brings me a question for you, because you all have more horses than anybody. Still, I mean, I'm not sure if it's locally, but how are we doing at Canham with the horses? Because I think it was...
Yeah, we had about, we were estimating about 200 horses is what we thought we had there on Canham. I think our 2023 census, or 2024 census had us at about 165, and then just using some wildlife modeling formulas, estimated, that you probably really have about 200. There was actually a roundup effort on the Mountain Ute side here in, that would have been in May. We actually had provided some funding to the Bureau of Indian Affairs to then pass on to the Mountain Ute tribe to include the Canyon of the Ancients lands south of Road G. And unfortunately, just due to several different circumstances, that money never got transferred over to the Mountain Ute tribe and then was given back to the BLM. But someone pushed all those horses somewhere off of Canyon of the Ancients National Monument. And we just had our most recent count about 2 weeks ago, and we went from 160 down to 95 is what we counted. So we're estimating that we only have about 120 animals on. So those animals that got pushed either down to the Mountain Ute either got gathered up in their roundup, or they got pushed over to the Navajo reservation and have not come back. When we saw that had happened, we went and we repaired all the fences. The permittee there in the area repaired, cleaned out all the cattle guards, and fortunately, it looked like that's having a positive effect on our numbers. We still intend to look for opportunities to remove the remainder of those horses, but this was all fairly new. And like I said, and we did see, some positive effects from the roundup, even though they weren't actually able to get on Canyon of the Ancients to remove horses directly. But the indirect movement, like I said, was a positive thing.
Okay. Questions? All right. Well, thank all three of you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day.
You as well.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Dobry, come on down. You have the next 3 bullet points. The first one's going to be a MoCo transfer from the bus fund.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
The first item that I have is a transfer from the Senior Bus Fund to the MoCo Senior Services Fund, and that's for the reimbursement of the new transportation bus, which was purchased from Davy Coach Sales, Inc., and the total transfer amount is $95,195.
Okay.
That one's relatively straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
No questions. The next one is the OpenGov software.
Yeah, and that's 2 items. We did not anticipate this year in our budget originally going to a new software. We kind of gave ClearGov another chance. We in administration, Travis Anderson and I, have decided that we don't think that we want to move forward with that. It is not meeting our needs. It's not doing what we need it to do. So the first piece of this is we posted a budget adjustment request in the Journal. It ran on the 10th and the 17th as required by statute, and the total request is for $57,806.20, and that will cover the implementation this year as well as prorated final 2 months of the year for OpenGov software if you were to approve and contract that. And then to go on to the next item, just to explain what the software will do and why we want to switch to that. So it will replace ClearGov as our budget preparation software. It connects directly with Cassell, which is our accounting software, which is one of the weaknesses that we are currently dealing with. There's a lot of manual input back and forth, and we've kind of switched over to more to Excel spreadsheet based, and it's taking up a lot of time. This will have benefits both in time savings and in reporting throughout the year for both for the commissioners and for departments. So this will be a real benefit to our budgeting as well as our financial tracking throughout the year. The total price of the onboarding is $51,600, and then the $6,206 is the prorated amount for the software for the rest of the year. The contract runs through 26 and 27. I've discussed it with Attorney Tarnowski, and it does have an out for non-appropriated funding. So that's why we only asked for the budget adjustment in that amount of the $57,806.20. In addition to this, so going forward in 2026, the price of this software would be a little over $39,000. We also, obviously, we don't want to be spending more than we need to. We've identified some software that we are no longer going to continue with, and I would be recommending, and we would be budgeting to remove $44,500 of other software that we currently have. So going to this and then removing those others, it will actually be, there'll be about a savings of about $5,000 a year going forward for budgeting. By going to it this year rather than waiting until next year and budgeting for it, we're able to receive a 30% discount from OpenGov and then also get it fully onboarded for the spring and ready for the next budgeting season. So that's my main justification there of going forward, is both the savings and to get it on board in time for next year. And I'm happy to answer any other questions that you might have.
I mean, to save money by changing software and getting rid of 3 other pieces of software makes it a reduction in cost, which is great. But it'll actually do what?
It does. It connects directly rather than outputting. Not to get too technical, but rather than outputting a CSV file from our software and then inputting that into the other, it actually is connected on the back end and integrated. So it's pulling information on a real-time basis or weekly basis directly from Cassell, our accounting software. So it will be up to date that way. It's a lot more integrated and it's a lot more powerful than what we currently have, and a lot more user-friendly. So it'll be a benefit to both to my department as well as all the other departments to be able to track their overall spending.
Okay. All right. Question?
No.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob. All right, Ms. Phillips.
Good afternoon. I'm Nionna Phillips. I'm the C&C coordinator at the Public Health Department, so I run the suicide prevention program. I think we're just here talking about the contract, the extra funding that came through, and that was just the $3,000 that came through that got sent to you this week, or this past week. Really what we're doing with the funding is nothing too crazy. We're gonna provide funding for post-pension, so that's just in regards to something that happens after suicide loss. So materials and supplies for that, and then the rest of the funding will also go to the construction industry. So kind of similar to the program that we talked about previously with the cattle crops and coffee. We're going to try to do something similar with the construction industry. So that's just supplies, materials, venues, and stuff like that, which that $3,000 is going to go to. I don't know if you guys have any questions or.
This is more just a continuation, isn't it, Stephen? It's not, this is nothing new at all.
Yeah,
This is
no, it's
purely
just
a continuation.
That's how I understand it.
Yeah, it was just a continuation of the. It was weird. They the contract that you guys signed like a couple months or about a month ago is the same contract that they sent over. This is just the additional $3,000 that they left out, and it's just making sure everything is okay. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
all right.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you. All right, Travis, you're up next. Dispatch Center.
So, Commissioners, this is pretty simple. This is the same contract or agreement that we've had with the dispatch center since pretty much inception, I think. There's been a couple of amendments, but during our conversations, and Commissioner Lindsay can probably attest to this, rather than doing a contract every year, they're wanting to do a 3-year contract just for time savings. People forget about the contracts, they get them in late, 6 months pass. So if we can do a 3-year contract versus a 1-year continuous contract, that is what is being proposed and requested by the Dispatch Accountability Committee.
And there's an out.
And there's an out.
And if we choose to leave, we can leave, but
Yeah, but
Costs are
what
going
would
up and
it
up
cost
and up.
us to leave?
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess
So.
go back to tin cans and string if we leave, I don't know.
Okay,
So that's it. It's just a
Question?
3-year.
all right. Very good. One more item. Gentlemen, come on down. I assume, Mike, are you, I know you're both on the planning commission, so I'm,
Mr. Hernandez, you want me to get Don? Does Don Haley need to be in here? I can go grab him. Are you needing him? Got a hole in the floor. I can go grab him.
Yeah, I'd ask to get him, just if he's got any input.
Okay. Okay. See how you are.
all right. Mr. Hernandez, take it away.
Well, as you all know, we were tasked, P&Z to review and come up with alternative energy solutions for the land use code. And we spent many hours after our P&Z meetings going through discussions, starting off with basically, what was that? Mesa County. We took that document and kind of shaped it to where we felt it was going to be useful for us. And in particular, we were addressing the solar because of the moratorium that was placed, by the commissioners several months ago. And so we stayed with that mainly, and this is what we came up with. So if you all have that in front of you, you can.
It's up on the screen.
You can read it.
Well, before we even go any further, because one of the biggest things, and I made it known right up front, is the nuclear aspect of this also, because it is going to be a portion of something that we really have to be thinking about that's critical, that's moving forward. And if you look at Mesa counties, I'm curious to see what you have compared to theirs as far as that blends or meshes together. So I'll just let you go forward with that.
Well, we're going to have to go back again and come up with something for the nuclear. But with the solar, we have a basic outline, so it's just a matter of plugging in for the nuclear. So if you have questions regarding this, this was, again, all the commissioners had input onto this. Commissioner Lynch here put it together for us, and this is what we came up with. We did have public comment one meeting. Was it a Monday or Tuesday? Forget. But it was quite lengthy.
July 24th, I think it was a Thursday.
Okay, quite lengthy meeting where the public was involved. And a lot of this effort came from them.
And I've never seen anything on nuclear other than you follow the Nuclear Regulatory Committee. It's all under the state, and I don't know where you would attempt to address that, not knowing all the state regs.
That would fall under FERC. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just everything that you have in red line is what was changed or what was added?
Actually, the red font is just to make comments about each of the sections there. It's not a change. It's all of the text here is original from the P&Z board.
Okay.
We try to address everything from the rooftop all the way to the major megawatt units.
Okay. We'll just keep scrolling down and Travis.
Do you think we need to be involved with rooftop solar?
Well, to the point where we just addressed it, not that we're necessarily going to have input or have them come to us. Yeah. As long as they met a certain threshold. You know, if they're going to put a rooftop and make it 10 feet tall, then yeah, we're probably going to want to talk about it.
Okay. Currently, you just have to stay under the height limit on threshold standards.
Okay. Travis or Stephen, do you have anything to add before we?
I guess I have some questions. You know, one thing that jumps out at me looking at these draft regs is that as I read them, it's contemplated that large-scale solar, which you guys define as anything over 160 acres, which comes out to approximately 16 megawatts, would be a conditional use on industrial zoning. Is that right?
I think that's correct, right?
And it's not a conditional use on other zoning types in this proposal, right?
Right.
I guess I would like to hear about sort of the background into that decision, because it's a little surprising to me, because from my perspective, that's you know, not how most things are regulated in the county, would be my personal input, for what I think is like a temporary type of use, like a gravel mine, is how I've thought about, you know, how this type of use should or could be regulated. So I'd just like to hear more about kind of the discussion you guys had and how you came up with this recommendation.
Well, I think with the conditional use, we wanted to have a lot more input on how it's going to be decommissioned and where all these panels are gonna be going. I think that's the crux of it. Where if it was a mine, okay, the mine's over, remediate the property and you're done. But with us, it's gonna be remediation, but we have items that we have to take care of.
But do you think that could be done through the special use and high impact use, the permit processes that we have in the land use code, rather than restricting it to one particular zoning designation? Because I think that's my concern, is that there's not a lot of industrial zoning in the county, and most of the parcels are not very big. So there wouldn't be a lot of opportunity for landowners to propose this kind of development.
And you might be right there, where we have control through the different permitting process. What we've tried to stay away from is getting a large piece of property that's zoned ag and have that thing rezoned. We're gonna end up with exactly like we have with our road N and the dollar store, where all of a sudden there's a commercial property that probably shouldn't have been zoned commercial property, and we don't want to see that again. So, but to be able to control that large facility, or even if it's just a 10-acre, 20-acre piece, and use the permitting to control what happens on it, whether it's the conditional use permit or high impact or both. I think that's doable, and it makes sense. Yes?
So I have a couple things. One of the things that we did is we made sure that the public would know the difference between a use by right and a conditional use. And the conditional use requires additional permitting, kind of like the current land use code, if I remember correctly, puts the large solar farms under industrial, and in conjunction with permits from I think it's part 2202, I don't remember exactly, but the high impact and special use permits is what I'm referring to. And so we wanted to make sure the public knew that the difference between those, the use by right and the conditional use. And then rather than, as John said, rather than saying that these large farms, solar farms would go under industrial, it would actually be a conditional kind of use, permitted use.
So
So you're because that's how I read the proposal, and so that's why I'm asking for clarification, is that it's a conditional use. Large-scale solar would be a conditional use on industrial only, or is that not the proposal?
No, it would be on industrial only.
Okay.
It could be out there on ag land with a high impact.
Okay.
you said it can, so that's not any different than what we have right now, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so.
Yeah, the code was written with the conditional use permits, so that, I mean, just like Kinder Morgan, they've got
Yep, 'cause
$20
it's where
million
it's at.
compressor station on ag land, and it's zoned ag.
Correct.
But they have the high impact permit.
Right, so then it doesn't change anything that we're doing. So is your classification a large scale, only 16 megawatts?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Your large scale solar is only 16 megawatts? Assuming a megawatt is, for easy math, 10 acres.
Right.
So you're saying 160 acres is?
Yeah, that was just numbers.
It was just a grouping. It has no
Okay.
significance with law or anything like that. It was just
Larger acreage, larger megawatts. Yeah.
Okay. All Well, I mean, obviously, I need some more time to really sit down and decipher it and probably have a sidebar conversation with you, but, questions at this time from either one of you guys?
I'm like you, I need to really look at this harder.
Again, we knew that we were under constraints, so this is our draft.
Right.
You know, we got to finalize it. Don will take care of that, I guess.
Yeah, I guess what I would like is an opportunity for Don and I to put together maybe like a staff rewrite of the proposal. And then maybe bring that back as another draft. Because there's a couple things that I would like to maybe just clarify, partially based on our discussion today, but also just my notes on my first reading that are recommendations that I would like to make.
Sure.
Okay.
That's what a draft's all about.
Yeah, that's, we may have several drafts before we
Yeah.
get to a final version of this thing. Yeah.
And from what I'm hearing, you're also wanting us to spend time on the nuclear part, or
For me personally,
Yeah.
just because I see where the energy component of this is all going. We have a meeting again at 6 o'clock tonight. All three of us will be there. And I think you guys are going to see that really, with what's coming on in the world today, with the draw of AI and the data centers and all the other stuff that we're using, I know nobody wants to have the conversation, but it's got to be had. And it should be put in the code sooner than later, or at least something in there. Because it's coming. I mean, Commissioner Lindsay probably is way better versed at this than I am, but I think if we're gonna change this and put this in here as far as alternative energy, it's something that really should be looked at now. And I know it's a 4-letter word too, but it's, gosh, it's coming.
It really is. I mean, it's coming a lot faster than I think we realize. Because
We
we've
probably
got.
should address it now, yeah.
We've got, I mean, talking in world figures, we're behind on energy production. And like you mentioned before, our infrastructure can't handle the needs of what this is gonna create. Data centers and all of this, we're gonna have to reconduct. I mean, just to get, if we generate all this energy here, we've gotta have some way to get it out. I mean, we can't put it in a box and put it in a truck and take it somewhere. It's gotta be over lines, you know, unless somebody's figured out what Mr. Tesla had in mind, and we could transmit energy, you know, wirelessly, but that hasn't come around yet. So we're gonna have to have better and bigger conductors.
So I appreciate your work. Give me a little bit of time now to decipher this and really try and figure it out, but then I'll wait for your staff draft.
Sure.
Also, and then we can have this conversation again.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
I wanna thank you guys for your efforts in this.
Yeah, I want to echo what John said. We were kind of thinking moratorium on solar, and so we were focused on solar, and so I guess we dropped the ball on the nuclear.
And I mean,
I get that. It was I think we did state it as, well, I don't know, I'll have to go back and watch and see how we stated it. I don't want to say.
but what would we do if somebody wanted to walk through your door and wanted to land a geothermal plant, you know?
It's really
160 megawatt geothermal
to
plant.
try and address all of the alternative energy.
Yeah.
Because there's alternative energy sources that we need to be.
I think like you said, we have a core. Once the draft goes back, and from the attorney, we can plug in maybe, you know, the other sources of energy, wind, you know,
Right.
the nukes.
And hydrogen
That's
is
a
starting to
four-letter
perk up.
Wind?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a 4-letter word. It is energy, though,
Yeah,
Not good energy, but that's my own personal opinion.
whether we like it or not.
yeah.
All right.
Truckload of energy drinks and away we go, huh?
Okay.
Thank you,
All right,
guys.
thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
With that, we've come to the end of our agenda, and this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you all.